Welcome to our 49th weekly webcast. I'm in Barcelona this week doing this broadcast from my hotel room. Any questions you want to. You can ask me business questions, personal questions, career questions, anything you want. This is an AMA, meaning ask me anything. So without further ado, let's begin, and thank you as always. Hello everyone, I'm so sorry for starting a couple seconds late there. I couldn't get my big camera, my Canon camera working here, so please let me know video, which is not superb, but I'm in Barcelona, so what can you do? All right, let me get right to the questions. And again, if anybody has complaints about the sound quality, please let me know, as I just hooked this up right now. Had some technical difficulties here. Fantastic. I was actually at the Picasso Museum this morning. I got this little mug there. Love the coffee here, it's amazing. I'm happy to talk about what Barcelona's been like so far, and the Picasso Museum, Gaudi, and all the other great stuff if you want me to. Okay, great. So you're saying that you've been taking my courses and following me for over 2 years. Thank you. I appreciate that. You give me the courage to start my own company. Would you be open to have a quick coffee together? Yeah, sure. If you're here in Barcelona, the best thing to do is to actually just send me a message directly over LinkedIn, and I'll look for it, and we'll grab a coffee here in the next couple of days. I appreciate that. Thank you. It should be fun. And for anybody from Germany, I'll be in Berlin in October. If you want, it's about the audio, as this is okay. Good, no complaints. So if anybody has an issue with the audio, let me know. Again, I'm sorry the video is not much better than this. I hate not using my good camera up there. I'm using the webcam here, and I got to be careful with this because it might shake if I type. So, okay. All right, next up is Kurt. How are you? Kirk is saying, I'm thinking of investing in real estate. Is this a bad idea to take profits from the market from my first investment? Tips. So you'd have to provide me with a little bit more color than that, please. But as with all questions I answer, I try to be generic enough to apply to everybody. And when you invest in anything, most governments will actually reward you for being patient. Meaning if you hold something for more than a year and then you sell it and you make money, you usually pay less taxes, less capital gains taxes, depending on where you are in the world. So I'd recommend speaking with a local accountant first to see if it makes sense to sell. And also when it comes to real estate, most countries allow you to get ridiculous write-offs as well, to the extent that you can even get loans from your parents and your spouse's parents. Okay, those are 4 loans in total, and they get a tax write-off, and so do you. And for more details on this, please take my complete personal finance course on Udemy. Thank you. All right, next up would be, as Paul is saying, it'd be a pleasure to meet you. Absolutely, I'm looking forward to meeting you here in Barcelona in the next couple of days. How about this? Let's meet on Monday or Tuesday of next week. My kids are in summer camp trying to learn a lot more about Spanish. They run circles around me when it comes to Spanish, so they're amazing. Yeah, I'd love to. Thank you. And I'm staying close to La Rambla as well. Cool. All right. Kurt is saying, please geek out on the first camera we should buy for our YouTube studio. Yeah, absolutely. I can geek out forever on this. So I think what makes sense if you're a vlogger is to get the Canon M50. Okay, and the M50 is what's referred to as a mirrorless camera, which means it does a lot of cool stuff that the bigger lens cameras do, but it's smaller. A lot smaller. So I would start with that. Also, it allows you to reverse the viewfinder as well, or the screen, I should say, so that when you're walking, like I do sometimes when I vlog, you can see what you're filming as well. So I recommend checking that out, and then get a Rode Video Mic Pro if you can, or a lavalier to hook up to your collar, as the sound with almost all cameras is awful unless you get something like this, an external one. So that's what I recommend. Yeah. And for those of you that aren't sure about whether or not you want to vlog or create courses online, rather than going out and buying a DSLR camera or a mirrorless camera, just use your iPhone. It's good enough. And I don't know if you saw the intro part to this week's video, but I recorded myself walking downtown by the water here in Barcelona, just using an iPhone. And the light, of course, is awesome outdoors, so it's pretty cheap. You don't have to buy additional. So, Barcelona is beautiful. It's gorgeous here. This city and Rio are my two favorite cities in the world. So I feel very blessed to be given the opportunity to work from here as well. Even though I butchered the lighting in this camera, it's another story, and that's why we started a couple minutes late. Barcelona is amazing. There's artists everywhere. You can see where Picasso and Gaudi and all the others got their inspiration from. People here think differently as well. They're very, very open-minded. And I was pleased to say that the bullfighting matadors has been made illegal. It's illegal now here in Barcelona, which is awesome. I don't want to criticize anyone's culture. I respect everyone's cultural differences, but when I was in Madrid in 2002, I went to one of those matador bull race things, and at the end, they ended the life of the poor bull. So it's outlawed in Barcelona, and people here are saying it'll probably be outlawed in the rest of the country. It's just a matter of time. Hope I didn't ruffle any feathers there. But it's beautiful here. It's amazing. It's amazing. Yeah. Willem, how are you, brother? Okay. Willem, I read Willem commented on one of my YouTube vlogs earlier today. He actually said, Chris, get out of the office and do some vlogs from the street, eh? And I agree. It's been hard for me to get out. I've been so busy, but I actually created a vlog today inside the Picasso Museum here in Barcelona. And I thought of you, dude, when I did it. So I'm going to publish it probably within the next couple of days. And thank you for the feedback. I appreciate the feedback. Always, always, always. Thank you. And Willem was on one of our first webcasts, and I held up my fake ID. I have a little McLovin fake ID, and I asked everybody to guess what movie that's from. Of course, you guessed correctly. It was Superbad, which is the best movie ever. They should make a part 2 of that, eh? All right, I'm going to scroll down, see if there's any complaints about the sound. Nope, nobody's complaining. That's a good thing, I guess. Okay, great. But Willem, you always bring a smile to my face when I see a dude. Okay. And Willem is saying, and if I miss any questions in the middle, please let me know. I answer the questions in the order in which I received them. So Willem is saying, hi, Chris. Show your gear for vlogging, camera, Rode, mic, etc. Yeah. So it's actually, give me 1 second. I'll do it. Give me a second here. I'll go and grab it and get rid of shadows here. Didn't do a great job. I know. It's kind of a last minute scramble. Give me 1 second, okay? The beauty of this one is you can turn the screen around. I don't know why DJIs can eat their lunch. I really believe that. So this is the one I love. You start out on auto, and then I'll teach you how to use manual mode if you don't know in this new course I'm releasing within a couple months. I've got over here, it's an electronic one made by DJI, which makes great drones as well. And it's called the Ronin S. And what that does is when I put that device on and I vlog, it keeps it kind of steady as well. And the last thing I have, which is somewhere over there in this room, I'll show you the dead cat on it here. That's what they call these things. It's kind of unfortunate. But I have a Rode Mic Pro I put on here. And when I'm outdoors, what I do is, I'll put this down over here. Then what I do is I import all the footage directly into Final Cut. On my Mac, and then process it that way and just export it. If it's an SEO thing, rather I skate to where the puck is going to be. And so I'm trying to have the foresight, humbly, to think longer term that people are going to want to watch 4K content. So all my stuff is in 4K. Even my Udemy courses, the new ones, are all 4K as well, even though you might be watching them in 1080. So if you have additional... All right. Next up is Adisha saying, hello, Chris. I hope you had a fantastic vacation. Thank you. Today is the first time in 50 weeks that we're not going to have a webcast. I feel bad about it, but we're flying that day to Toronto to spend time with my family and Christine's family. Yeah. We've come a long way, though, all of us, since our first week, almost 50 weeks ago. Just sucks that I couldn't get my big camera to work today. I had to fall back on this device here, webcam. Oh, well. All right, Maz is saying, good morning from the District of Columbia, United States. Chris, good morning. Same to you. How are you? Do you have any meet and greet seminars in the plan? Have a great day. Yeah, so I'm going to do one of these weekly office hours events from It's hot here, sorry, in Spain here. Love this country. But I'm going to do, I'm going to have office hour, or my weekly office webcast will be held at some point in my studio in California. Probably within a couple. When I'm there, we could meet up for a coffee. Anybody there? I'm from Mississauga, Canada. That's close to Toronto. And then meetups here, and any other plans to go to DC or anywhere else at this point. But yeah, at some point I will. Yeah. All right. Akil is saying, how can we leverage big data with privacy in the mind? Yeah. So I think, so big data is a term for those of you that are not, there's always been analytical tools that would do it for you for years. But what happened was with the traditional databases could not keep up. And they started crashing like relational databases. And so there's a company called Splunk, lots of data up in the cloud. And so any analytical software package that analyzes, databases or CS Hyperion, which is owned by Oracle, Business Objects, which is owned by SAP, a great German software that just got bought recently by Salesforce. They're all amazing companies, and you can use all those aforementioned analytical packages to drag and drop a developer to use them. So anybody can do it to look for patterns in the data. And I met with the CEO, founder of Up For Me. The guy's name was Christian Chabot. And just an amazing dude, great salesperson. I knew he would do great things. The Tableau software from his website on an old Dell PC in front of me. He then downloaded 9 million lines of database information directly from American Airlines. And he was able to show me within a minute or so, right? And this wasn't a high-end computer, it's pretty basic Dell. He was able to show me a lot of flight patterns, which was incredible. So check it out if you have time. The company is called Tableau, Tableau, like French, Tableau. Anyway, I think that's probably the best big data package out there right now. In terms of more advanced big data packages or software companies out there, so I invested in one called Palantir. And Palantir is probably the most important, move closer so you don't see the shadow back there, but Palantir is probably the most important big data company out there. And it's actually the biggest employer now in Palo Alto. So I invested when I worked in venture capital, and I sold my stake as well. I sold all my private stakes in private companies for the most part, exception of one, I think, yeah. But what Palantir does is it's got analytical software called Gotham and Metropolis too. You know where they got that from. And the software actually comes up with pattern recognition and solves the world's biggest problems. And so the Obama administration would never have found Osama bin Laden without using Palantir software. And discern and see pattern recognition to the extent that they kind of had a good idea that Osama bin Laden was hiding in security breaches they might potentially get with respect to their infrastructures. And governments use Palantir software, and the Palantir is the name of the company. Peter Thiel is the first and largest investor in it. And Peter Thiel was also the first, and he was co-founder of that company. And Peter Thiel thinks that Palantir is going to have, Peter Thiel owns a venture capital firm in the Bay Area called, it's called, right? And I humbly believe that once all the founders leave, technology or turnarounds do not work in technology. All right, give me 1 second. I'm going to scroll down real quick here. All right, it's great. So if you guys don't mind, I'm actually... Quality's not that great today. All right, shadow's killing me in the background, but I'm going to try not to be a perfectionist today. All right, big data with respect to privacy. We saw the death of privacy, about a decade ago. So it's just comfortable with that level of uncertainty. I remember when I used to work on Wall Street, we used to somewhere. It is what it is. So I just be really, really careful with that if you can. So anyway, privacy died about a decade ago. They just stop by and say hi. Oh, wow. Or you're here as well, huh? Please do the same as well. And that goes for anybody here in Barcelona. All right, next up is Adish, who's saying, I'm traveling, would love to meet with you as well. Tell you what, Thursday during my webcast on September 3rd, why don't you stop by my house? And then I'll bring you onto the webcast, and you can actually sit in my studio office. You'll be one of at least a week or two in advance, though, so we can schedule it. Thank you. All right. Yeah, Willem is saying it's also 5 p.m. south of me here. It's cool. Awesome. With Christine, my wife. And we came here with another couple as well. Really nice people. Yeah. All right. College. Do you think studying for this in the evenings over 3 years? Do you think studying the CFA would be beneficial, or would it be wiser to spend the time somewhere single and hard? I did level 1. It. And don't pay any money for the expense that I used as well to help me write. The ability to network and meet with people that would be more than happy to help you out. And so go to my website, harounventures.com, and please read my book on networking. It's a free download. Really something right here, I guess. Either that or I've gone dark and no one's on the web with me here. All right. Next up is Nick, who is from, I've been having so much fun here. It's a small, anyway, I love it. Close all their shops for a couple hours. And I kind of I respect it. They know how to live here, right? Live to work versus working to live, right? That's a problem with that, with America, where I'm from. Yeah. All right. Look at me. I'm kind of an idiot for mentioning that because I am working on my vacation. I'm on a permanent vacation, to quote Aerosmith. Or go to school, or take a profession. And if the naysayers say that's not realistic, then don't talk to them. Yeah. All right. Hold on 1 second, guys. So he's hold on a second. No, I'm not going to do that. Is now and starting up. We've got I've done that. There's those talks as I took a part of the course. And Chris. Que tal? I don't know what that means. I'm so ignorant when it comes. It's beautiful language. Hola, though, it means hello. Dora and Boots. Anyway, there's a movie coming, and she speaks Spanish too. All right, Akil's saying thousands of years ago, there's a barter system, meaning trading. Then the cryptocurrencies will kind of for anything. And so I think that the problem with fiat currencies is that governments can print as much as they want of this stuff, which isn't fair. And I'm really happy that cryptocurrencies and currencies have had monopolies in their own currencies are going to become more secure and more digital as well. They have to. And I believe that, and you can go to my vlog and do it crazy. But anyway, you can check out that vlog if you want to, or you can watch my 24-hour course called The Complete Cryptocurrency. What is the difference between index funds and exchange traded funds? The particular index. Okay, so the S&P 500 is an index of 500 stocks that a company called Standard & Poor's, S&P, believes represent the economy. And every now and then, S&P will rebalance, meaning they'll kick out a couple companies that are less relevant, and they'll bring in more new index funds, and index funds push up and down the stocks within that index, or the stocks go up a lot if they've just been added to an index. So an index fund is basically a representation of an index, like the S&P 500. Now, an ETF is similar, except it's an exchange-traded fund, which basically means a bunch of stocks that represent something in common. For example, you can buy an oil OIH, which is the Oil Services Index, which is an amalgamation of just drill. You can also buy ETFs that represent commodities. So you can buy SLV or SLW, SLV. And the great thing about ETFs have very, very high fees, 3, 4, or 5%. You can also buy country-specific exchange-traded funds, ETFs, including, get quotes, you'll find that the largest holding, as well as CVRD, it's a big, so you get, and so their indexes are usually natural resources and banks. And if you have planning about, no, there's no other, let me know. I see that we only got 12 people watching now, so obviously there's an issue with the quality. I apologize. Is saying Steve Jobs paid a handsome package for the board of directors to leave the board when he came back to Apple after getting fired. Is it possible to do that? I don't know. I just don't know. I don't know the answer to that. Sorry. Remember at that point, pray underneath of it, pray that they make it. So I don't know. Sorry. I don't think it's this webcast, even when you're away from home. I truly appreciate it, sir. Thank you. Yeah. So I enjoy this. I don't have a job. It's only as good as its customer service. And clearly today I'm doing you all a disservice because it is from somebody called Success and Inspiration. I love it. Hello, how are you? Came from somebody that was awful at public speaking and terrified of it for years. And I believe that you have to run to your fears, and because you can accomplish anything. Yeah. For Steve Jobs. All right. And then Success and Inspiration has a follow-up saying, for me, I use Galaxy. It's all about lighting. It's all about lighting. And that's why whenever you shoot videos with these things outdoors, they look great. And I'm certainly not doing a great job with my lights here today. And I've saved over 10 grand, right? By crazy, I know. I went a little bit low today. I was rushing to get done as fast as I could. I had technical problems here as well. So anyway, that is the right time for a product. Like they say, the product was too advanced for the market. Yeah. Back to a couple of my conferences when I worked in venture capital. These were conferences. The Kleiner Perkins holiday party at the Menlo Circus Club back in 2015, I think it was. Yeah. And I talked to Andy, and I asked Andy, I said, why is it you're so successful? And you can Google him as well, or Wikipedia and whatever. He's had a wonderful exit, meaning an IPO, or he sold the company. Meaning harvested the company when he sells it. Yeah. And I asked Andy, I said, Andy, if your tune was a handheld, it came out in the early 90s, which was way too early. And probably a great way way you do that is you go to surveymonkey.com. And what you can do is you can pay to have a pulse and portfolio diversification, really come up with different results. It's kind of like when you buy your portfolio as much as you think it does. And so I recommend that you use a company called SurveyMonkey, and you send out a survey. And you can customize the survey as well based on whatever demographic you're interested in from a customer perspective. So I recommend checking that out. And that's part of the whole process of creating a business plan as well, is testing the market, before you jump off the cliff and try to launch it. All right. Next up is, and let me just look to hear if any more complaints. Wrigley, how? I love it here. I love it. Thanks. It's great. A couple of days ago, and I recorded was off the charts. And I went to his house as well out here. He passed away in '89, but the government owns the house, and they let people go visit. It was kind of fun. But the vlog was about controversy. And if you do something controversial, you get great and free PR, free publicity, free marketing, free advertising, so to speak. And so I think that being controversial is the best marketing campaign ever. For example, you had Mark Benioff, who's owns the largest company in San Francisco called Salesforce.com. For years and years and years and years, he kept saying that software is dead. Software is dead. And what he meant was client server software, the old stuff before you had the internet. And he kept saying, why the heck do you need to run software on your machine when you can run it in the cloud? And people thought he was crazy, right? But he's a crazy genius. Actually, he's not crazy. He's just a genius. So anyway, it was very controversial. And the media loved him for it because it was newsworthy. It was interesting. It was controversial. And if you read his book called Above the Clouds, which I recommend you do, he'll give you 100 pieces of advice based on why he's successful. And one of the big people that worked at various media publications around the world, and that was his free marketing campaign, his free PR. Right? Doesn't get much better than that. It's free. And the way you can do that is go to my website, harounventures.com, and you can read my book for free there. It's called it's late here, later here than normal. It's called, it's called Networking. Now, it's a networking book. You can download it for free. And you can learn how to network like Mark Benioff did and will continue to do in order to be successful, because in business, relationships are more important than product knowledge. And other people have done that as well. They've been very successful by being controversial, like Sir Rich in the 1980s. And what he did was he rented a tank and he drove that tank into Times Square, declaring a war on Coca-Cola. And anyway, it was great PR. Of course, the media was all over it. They were all over it. So I would try that out if you can. Controversy works really, really well. Tastefully, obviously. Tastefully is important. Yeah. And when you're starting a company, maybe you can throw down a big challenge. Like for me with my MBA degree program, I'm just going to make this up. The Haroun Education Ventures MBA degree program will teach you why Harvard Business School, HBS, 2/3 of which is BS. Here's why, right? That might be newsworthy and somebody might be interested. It's kind of a catchy. That's exactly what Salvador Dali was. Very, very controversial. Even in the pictures of him, it kind of freaked me out. Got from the media. Yeah. Anyway, so I would do that. Another thing you can do, just to be more timely, is you can create a video and like my stuff, but maybe something you do can. But that's what you are, right? And YouTube is the only gold rush in history where you can actually create the product for free. And hold on a second. Akil is saying, how do you manage I don't really believe in, there's a guy named Godfrey Sullivan who worked in the Valley. And he was very successful. And he also was the CEO of Hyperion before Oracle bought it. But he was very successful at managing people because his mantra was to always praise in public and criticize in private, right? It's really humiliating. And it discourages them from being loyal in what they're doing so much that it doesn't feel like a job for them. It feels like a passion. And I think that if you hurt the corporate culture in your company, will suck. And all it takes is one bad apple to destroy the culture of an entire company. And so the way I deal with employees and conflict, autonomy as well. A lot of autonomy. I hate to micromanage. If it's a newer employee, maybe initially you offer some rough guidelines. But there's nothing worse than or demeaning than being micromanaged for far too long. Yeah. All right. All right. Yeah. All right. I saw somebody complained about the audio quality. Let me see, what can I do? All right. Next up is Kartik, who's saying, what are the other options to raise to invest? You can get a high net worth investor to invest in your company as well. And I prefer getting high net worth investors initially because the sales cycle is very, very short. Very short. When it comes to these places. So I would do that. You can also, another option, you asked for options here, is you can get debt financing. Please don't do that. Please don't. They can take your company away. And so if you're going to go down that route, well, first of all, please don't. But if you're going to, I want you to, the bank can't come after you and take away your house and hurt your children and your family. Another thing you can do is a hybrid product called a convert. And you'll hear people say convertible note. What does that mean? Well, what that means is it's a loan that eventually converts into equity, meaning somebody owning part of your company. And the loan is, let's just say, 7% interest per year, much higher than the after 6 or 12 months or whenever the company raises money next time, it converts what a convert is, and that's another option. Yeah. Younger. When I was 18, I actually got a student venture government programs. You just got to Barcelona. It's fantastic. It's great. Thanks. I'm absolutely Barcelona. I usually don't wear a mug. I thought it'd be kind of cheesy if I held it. Asking what universities like Western's Business School just outside of Chicago. I believe that business. You want to know how to get into a top business schools, and I teach you all the secrets there. And I also, one thing I didn't mention in that, called something along the lines of how to market yourself to the top business schools. It's 150 pages. It's really short. And basically use that as kind of a guide for writing your essays. And so, right, or who you're meeting with. And just understand what you probably want to have a very diverse set of students, okay, with different life experience. But it was a very diverse student body. And there were people with amazing backgrounds. Amazingly different backgrounds, like people were in the peace, and he had an amazing life story. He had ejected from his airplane, and he promised his wife and kids. And again, he was of experiences that brings. And so for me, when I applied to business school, And I wouldn't have done it in hindsight, gone to business school. I wrote my essays. I thought to myself, how can I stand out from other applicants? What makes me unique or different? I applied to American business schools. And what can no American do? And this was back, late 90s or whatever, at McGill University, Montreal. I went on exchange. And went on exchange to the University of Havana, Faculty of Economics in Cuba. That, some people, if they're extremely right-wing, would hate me for it. Or, I don't know, I shouldn't have said right-wing, but I think you know what I'm getting at. All right. Next up is Abdul is saying, what's the average work experience required for an MBA in these universities? 4 years. 4 years. And don't, as if you, like one with classrooms and stuff, like our buildings, as if you've tried your best with 100 networking meetings. A lot of top business schools nowadays cost over $100,000. And 200 meetings, that's $1,000 per meeting. I think it's worthwhile doing that. That's because when companies come to recruit, shine, competitively speaking. Important ideas we should be exposing ourselves to now to become leaders in the I think you're talking about David Shaw from D.E. Shaw. That's the big hedge worked. He used to work there. Yeah, and so I would just focus on yourself as the most confident person you've ever known. What is it? What is it about you that makes you? Me, it was public speaking. So whatever it is for you, I want you to run towards it and embrace it and turn that perceived weakness into. Then you'll never have confidence issues ever. All right, how do you speak about the content when you're walking? So it comes with practice, a lot of practice. Like if you go to my YouTube cave on how education can solve every problem in the world, it's the one with the yellow letters. So you can check it out and you'll see it there. A lot. And basically what I also did was, I was ever lost. I just looked at the video, get off track. If you ever forget what you're saying, look at the slide. There's a couple of things you can do. So there's pivot words I like to use. So if I don't know what I'm going to say next, I'll say something along the lines of in terms of, right? So those are transitions, and I teach it and having structures in your mind. So if somebody asks you about a business problem, you can throw a structure in out there. The strengths of XYZ company are this. Okay, and I just took this framework called a SWOT framework. And what happens also is, and I know this because I used to teach in schools. Whenever you hear somebody say, how do you make sure you don't forget something? No, and thank you for checking out the course. I appreciate that. I had a lot of fun with that. Thank you very much. Thank you. JR character on Dallas back in the 80s. And there's this, it's a show based in Texas. It was Who Shot JR? Okay, so Jacob is saying, and the ticker on Southwest is LUV, which is Lovejoy or Love Field, right? That's the name of their home airport. And I love Southwest, those of you in the United Kingdom. Of every employee that works there, and y'all who have flown Virgin America or Virgin Atlantic, the international version of that, know what I'm talking about. By the person at the top always. Hopefully that doesn't change now that Virgin was just sold to Alaskan Airlines. Yeah. I also like Emirates. And I flew Emirates to Dubai a couple times, which is a lot of fun. The Airbus 3. I came over here to Berlin, or not Berlin, sorry, to Barcelona, which is amazing. It's a great plane by Boeing, and 787 Dreamliner its wings are like this; they're curved, and that way it can be 20% more fuel efficient. It's pretty cool. It's major airports all over the world, Narita, Heathrow, everywhere. Place. I love people in Charlotte are really nice too. All right, Fausto is saying, give me 1 second here, okay? I'm gonna put in, I'm just gonna let you guys see what I'm doing, right? I don't want you to think I'm leaving you hanging. I'm gonna go over here to see if I can change the output. Whoa, warning, output in progress, quality may be reduced. If you create a new destination with a higher quality, I don't know if that would be a new destination. I'm kind of nervous doing this, guys. Let me see. Live now. I wonder if I can change it. All right, hold on 1 second, guys. Yeah, right now I'm at 1440. I can't go down. Oh, here it is here. Hold on. Let's see. Oof. Oh, dude, I'm nervous. I could go downstream. I don't know if it would work, if it would cut people off. Yeah, I'm too scared to pull the trigger on that, guys. Sorry. I might leak that chance. Sorry, guys. All right. So David is saying, how's it going? I'm learning too with Babbel and Duo. Enjoy your vacations. Thank you. Okay. Ashutosh is saying, can you suggest some stuff talked about a lot in the past? And what you can do is telling you what vitamins I take. If you want, do a search on Biohack, or you can take my course called 30 and try to give myself more energy. I experimental learned. We're all different. Yeah. Way too much. Work better. If it doesn't work better, then I want you all to just go to my YouTube channel and I'll start a new YouTube up. Then go to my YouTube channel and I'll start a new live stream. Okay. And I'll call it Weekly Webcast 49-2. Okay. So I'm going to go try and I'm going to let you see what I'm doing too. So you can see if we get cut off here. Okay. So at 1440. I'm going to downgrade this to 1080. Hold on a second. Let me first of all select live ones. And this might kick us off again. If this does kick us off, then just go to my YouTube channel and log on to a webcast, which I will create if this messes up, called 49-2. Okay, so here's 49. All right. So I'm going to go and downgrade us now to this, which is going to cut the upload in half. Okay. Uh-oh. Okay. All right. I don't know if you guys are still with me or not. Let me go and check. Give me a second. Give me a second. Oh my God, it worked. Okay. So before I go on, just somebody please type. What you can always do is you can always go here, click here. So I'm going to wait. Is it better? Did it work? Okay. All right. I'm going to keep going. Let me try and find where I was. And if the quality is still not great, all right, great. I guess it's okay. Keep going. If there's still issues, let me know, okay? Thanks. Hold on. Okay. Next question is from Jay. Jay is saying, thank you, sir. No, please call me Chris. Thank you. I look forward to listening in again soon. My pleasure. Thank you. Fix it. Thanks. If you're just joining us, we're broadcasting here live from Barcelona. Okay, so on economics from the point of view of physics. It's hard to get it published with recognized publishing houses. Yeah. So when I almost signed up with them, I decided not to because they would own the content. You know, I don't want to lose control. So just know that going in, that you can lose completely control of your content. Also, you got to be willing to fail a lot. And so the thing that J.K. Rowling, Agatha Christie, and C.S. Lewis all have in common is they were all rejected many, many, many times by editors and publishers. But they just kept trying. She was rejected by 30 publishers. You know, she was a single mother. She was an assistant in my wall back in my studio in California, which is I've filled over and over and over again. And that's why I succeed. So what should you do? Well, I recommend networking. Go to my editors and publishers that have something in common with you. Again, read the free book. I'll tell you how to get these meetings. And then just know that every time you fail, you're getting that much closer to success. Okay. So, all right. And Cyan, if I did not answer your question correctly, please let me know. Sorry about the video there, but the audio is working fine, I think. Okay. Yeah. So, all right. Next up is I'm interested in business and startups. How should I start? What books should I read? Yeah. So I I would think to yourself, Alan, who we just talked about, and whoever those people are that inspire you. What happened? They also share their secrets because they're very. So why reinvent the wheel? You know, if your dream is to be like Oprah, you know, or if your dream is to be like I don't know, Bill Gates. You know, read their biographies or autobiographies if they exist. Those are the best. Great business person by reading books on economics. You know, like supply and demand stuff. But I would just, you know, just follow your mentors so that one day your idol can become your rival. Yeah. All right. Geography course coming out soon. It is. And how's the weather in Barcelona? It's great. It's hot today. That's why I just had to open the door here. I'm perspiring a bit here. It's beautiful. So it's just in the editing portion right now. I still have to do a couple things on drones. Free, how are you, Andrew? All right, so we've got a question. Hi, Chris. Great to see you're still going strong with the weekly webcast and with your work. Thank you. Thank you very much for that. Appreciate it. It's fun. All right, and I see one last question here. So first of all, before I answer these next question here, if anybody's still in the webcast and you can hear me, just write. So the question here is, hi, Chris. Sorry I'm late. Guess you're asking or basking in the hot summer weather in Barcelona, you lucky guy. Yeah, it is kind of hot here. You know what that is? That's the world's smallest violin. So I'm going to wrap it up this week. Sorry about the quality here. I want to show you guys what I have. Go to what is my internet speed? All right, so I'll do a speed test right now just to show you I'm not crazy. I have great upload speed here. So go, and while that's going, just make sure you guys are still on the call. Any questions? Hold on a second. Look at this here. Okay, so the speed is good. I mean, download is 40 or 30 or 40 megs. It doesn't matter though. What's more important is actually the upload. In the upload, you need at least 12 megs per second in order to do, you know, near 4K quality, near 4K. Here we go. It hasn't been that great this week. I apologize for that. It won't happen. More questions. This is fun. So ask me questions. Come on. So the next one is Vipul is asking, what do you think about investment opportunities in India, meaning Indian startups? So I look at every company bottoms up. So investing just because I've been burned in the past. But I usually look bottoms up. And I look longer term. You know, if it's a very favorable government as well, you know, like India, for example, I've invested a lot in India. You know, India is the biggest democracy in the world, right? Over 1 billion people. It's an amazing place. And so I've invested in a lot of tech startups in India. Yeah, I think there's wonderful. Love investing in India. I love it. I love it. Yeah. All right, next one is Mr. Unknown. Oh, that's right. Mr. Unknown is our 16-year-old in, I'm in Barcelona right now. And sorry that the quality is not that great. I have nothing else I can do. I've got pretty good upload speed here in this apartment I rented. Brought all my equipment. Couldn't get the camera to work. For some reason, I'm using just my Mac here. But no, things are good. So I don't see any more questions, though. And I'm eager to answer questions you might have. So ask away. And if there's no more questions, I'll wrap up the call. It's not a threat. I'm happy to answer lots of questions. Okay, good. All right. No more questions on this webcast. Good. Awesome. We got a question. Please, more questions. Let's do this. Come on. Done before she or he detaches fully from his own company to protect himself from future issues related to it. Let me think about that one again. Okay. So I would talk to a lawyer about this, and I'm not a lawyer. And when you sell your company, there are legal documents you have to sign, right? So that you're not taking on any liabilities going forward, right? Or indemnification, as they call it. So I would do that. It all comes down to don't worry about the quality. You deserve the vacation there. Thanks, dude. Appreciate that. Thank you. So anybody have any more questions? Type them now. If you're thinking of a question and you want to type, just type any letter right now, A, B, C, it doesn't matter, and I'll hold on for you. I'll wait. Okay. Oh, Adish here is saying, how can I confirm our meeting for September on September 5th? So, and that's the one where you were going to come by my office, right? Or my studio in California, my studio audience during the webcast. Just send me messages over LinkedIn, and Wrigley, if Wrigley's on the call, I'm sure as well. We'll look out for it as well. And I'll make sure that we don't miss that. If I don't answer, then send it a couple times, because I give you my word. We'll get it done. We'll get it done. The same thing with Paul and whoever else I'm meeting with in here in Barcelona early next week, or anybody who wants to meet in Germany as well, in Berlin in October. Just send me a message over LinkedIn. Yeah. Awesome. Okay, great. Are there any more questions? No more questions? Okay. All right. I guess we'll wrap it up. Are you sure? I'm here for you guys if you have questions. If you're thinking of a question now, type in any letter, A, B, C, whatever, and that will just kind of signal to me you're typing your question. Okay. Here we go. Good. Vinny is saying, if we can, list the best jobs or career options. Yeah. So I think you got to kind of look at things, 5 or 10 years in the future. This is how I usually look at investments. Are manufacturing jobs can be more relevant or less relevant? So I think less relevant, a bit less relevant. In 5 years, are robotics or artificial intelligence-based jobs going to be more in demand or less in demand? Is something that will be more in demand and probably worth thinking about career-wise. But I think what's more important than that is for you to ask yourself, what am I most passionate about in life? What gets me out of bed in the morning? No one's ever changed the world by doing it just to make money. They've done it because they absolutely love what they're doing. Like, if you look at Elon Musk, and yes, he's successful, he's done well, good things for society, but he's not trying to make money by saying, I want to colonize Mars or send spaceships up to Mars and that sort of thing. It's not about the money for him. For Steve Jobs, it was never about the money. It was about the beauty and simplicity of design. Anybody that's had their mark on society has never done so just for money. They haven't thought with this first. They think with this first, right? If you don't think with this first, this will never work. The career you should follow. All right. Next up is awesome, Adish. I'm excited too, buddy. It'll be fun. All right, and so Adish is coming September 5th, I think. You send me a message well in advance, but use LinkedIn to send me a message, please. I'll look for it that way, and then I'll host you all there. And if too many people want to come, then I'll never turn anybody away. What we'll do is there will be room at the end. I'll do a webcast by my swimming pool, like I did a couple weeks ago when I had my old drone and video. Down by the water here in Barcelona at the beginning of this video, so you could go back and watch it if you want to as well. I hope the quality's okay. Yeah. All right. So Vipul is saying, just love your presentation skill. How can I improve mine? Thank you. I appreciate that. If you want, you can take my complete presentation course, or you can sign up for my MBA degree program. And I'll give you one-on-one coaching in that. And so for this MBA degree, we're capping it at 100 people. So you'll notice I haven't been advertising it very much because demand has been really, really good. But I'm going to give a lot of one-on-one time to people. And I'm not doing it for the money. It's just fun. And so you can live your life in your own terms. But if you sign up for it, if you make that commitment, my commitment to you will be tenfold. I'll teach you how to present much better than anybody you've ever known in your life. I'll actually go through your resume myself and make it off the charts. I'll help you make your business dreams come true, or at least set a path this way here at TechSpace. All right. Thank you for that comment, Adish. I really appreciate it. God bless you. And Daniel is saying, Chris, muchas gracias. Espero aprendas más español. Dude, I'm so bad, but I love it. And I heard my son say a word I got him in trouble for. It is P-U-T-A. What it means. Oh, one more thing here. we asked somebody for, oh, I shouldn't say this, but we asked somebody for directions to the beach. And he said, yeah, there's a really nice bitch over here. Anyway, I'll stop now. Okay. I'm one stupid comment away from destroying my career, or lack thereof. Yeah. A lot of nice beaches here. Yeah. BEACH. Okay. All right. Next one is, what are your opinions on investing in real estate? Do you invest in real estate? I do. And I can hear my grandfather, I miss you, Grandpa. Invest in anything. You got to make sure that the supply stays limited. That's why I hate most cryptocurrencies. I do. I like some of them, but not all. Because some cryptocurrencies, or a lot of cryptocurrencies, can create unlimited supply. That's why I love natural resources. They're great long-term investments. Buy land because they're not making it anymore. But it's a very cyclical business, and I love to buy when everybody else is panicking. And for those of you buying your first apartment or your first house, I don't want you to be reckless, but if you don't feel a bit uncomfortable, you're not buying enough. Okay, and what I mean by this is, if you don't push yourself a bit, like obviously be fiscally responsible. You know, you got a fiduciary duty to your family and yourself. But if you don't push yourself enough, you know, after owning that place for a couple of years, you'll say, darn it, I wish I paid just this much more and had the extra bedroom, you know? So, no, I think it's a great investment. I think it's the most important investment most people will ever make in their life is buying a house or an apartment. But if you buy in your 30s, you know, you'll end up making millions and millions relative to just renting over 30 or 40 years. So by my 60s or 70s, my property worth a lot more than had I rented, obviously. You know, and that's the problem with New York City. A lot of people go there, young people go there, and they spend all their money on you know, partying and rent. The sooner you can buy, the better. The sooner you can buy, the better. And take my complete personal finance course if you want to. I teach you about real estate in that as well. But I don't go into too much detail, but I also teach about REITs. I like investing in REITs, which are like stocks. So REITs stand for real estate investment trusts. And it's like a stock. And you can buy these REITs. You just type in the ticker wherever you get your quotes from. And a lot of times the dividend yields are high, like 10 or 12%. Because these real estate investment trusts are these special entities you can invest in where governments make the people that create these pools of real estate, right? These big, you know, shopping mall REITs or I don't know, in terms of dividends. You're worried about investing in real estate you've never done before, start by buying. Next up is, and there's so many tax breaks for investing in these things. Like and take my complete personal finance course, because I go into a lot of detail on that, in 195 countries. That's right. I talk about it and I have resources for it in 195 countries, including your country, whatever country you're all from. So check it out if you want. All right, then me. On Udemy. Just search for real estate and take their courses, not mine. But I do teach about it in my complete personal finance course. Yeah. All right, next up is Sinisera. And if I'm ever mispronouncing anyone's name, please let me know, please. Okay. So, one more quick thing on real estate. There's a vlog I did a couple months ago. Just go to my YouTube page and search for the number 31, because I teach you simple changes in your spending habits that will literally make you $33 million richer, or $32 million richer in 50 years. One of which is the main one is buying a house or an apartment. Okay. All right, Chris, I've been toying with the idea of reaching out to Jay Leno for the last 6 months about a webinar I would like to co-host with him on August 26, 2019. But I haven't been brave enough to contact him. Can you help me on how I may contact him without being rejected, since it's only 1 month to the proposed webinar date? Wow, good for you. Good for you. You know what, dude? Worst thing you can say is no or not respond. Okay, here's what you do. So Jay Leno loves cars. He loves cars. So, and he has tons of cars, tons of them. So I'm going to tell you a story about a guy. He owned a resources company, or a steel-based company in Ohio, in Cleveland. And he wanted to meet with the CEO of a big company to get him as a customer. And so what he did is he sent this guy, the CEO of this company, a nice little pine box. And inside the box was an American dollar, a coin from the 1800s. And in the box was also a note saying something along the lines of, Dear Sir, thank you very much for reading this letter. As you can, is much higher than $1. By the same token, the value I could bring to your company, if I could just please get one meeting with you to explain what we do, is much higher than my face value as well. Thank you for your, okay. I don't know how you're going to do, if it's going to be a box or something. Do something outside the box, something like that, and see how he responds. Also, they just don't have time to answer. But if they got one message or one incredibly unique, little thing in the mail, they might be inclined to say, I'm going to call that dude back. And I'll give you a great example, actually. Oh my God, this is awesome. So I took my son Dylan, as many of you know, a couple weeks ago to the Paul McCartney. The only time he sat down was to play Hey Jude and Let It Be on the piano. But what he did was, partway through the show, he stopped singing and he looked out there and he said, hey, can you put the spotlight on that woman over there, please? And it was a woman holding up a sign saying, I am the walrus, and I sold my Mini Coupe to come to this concert. And it was so out there and unique that he called her to come up on the stage. And you can do a search on San Jose concert from 2 weeks ago, whatever it was, and you'll see somebody recorded it. And she was dressed as a walrus as well. There's a famous Beatles song, Tattoo or something. But it was so out there. And so that's what you got to do to get that meeting with Jay Leno. Learn a bit more. I'm interested to hear, and I'm rooting for you as well, how it goes. All right, J. Matthew Turner. Matthew's a great name. It's my son's name too. And one of the guys I work with, Matthew Lacus, great guy. All right, so J. Matthew Turner, JMT. Can I call you JMT? Because we go way back, So Jay Matthew saying, hi, Chris. Thanks for doing this. My pleasure. Thanks for joining us. I'm a video producer with a moderately successful YouTube channel. It contains some of the work I'm proudest of. How would you recommend I include that in my resume? Yeah. So I would quantify it. I would quantify your traction on YouTube. I've only been doing this YouTube daily vlogging thing for a year now. So I don't have many followers, only like 18,000 or so, whatever. But I'm partnering with a woman named Sasha Stevenson. And I mentioned this for a reason. And Sasha and I are making a course called the Complete YouTube Course. And one of the ways I'm marketing it is I'm quantifying how successful she is. And so Sasha just passed 100 million views on her channels. And so in the promotional trailer, which is commensurate or similar with your resume, I'm spinning it along the lines of, I'm partnering with somebody, then I would throw down numbers. Okay, I would throw down numbers on your resume. Across all of my channels, I've had more than X number of views, whatever it is, right? And I'm a nobody, by the way. I have like 800,000 views or something, which is nothing. Yeah, I would quantify it if you can. Yeah, and if I didn't answer your question properly, or if you have follow-ups, please let me know. Or if you want to write down a line of text here on what you want to put in terms of. Thank you. All right. And then Vineet saying, not work though, Vineet, first. Like if it didn't work because you didn't like it, then do something else. But if it didn't work because you couldn't get a job in a certain puzzle, kind of like an iPad game, like Cut the Rope or whatever it is, then keep at it. And one little setback in life is nothing. It's nothing times, and all of us have combined. So you got to ask yourself first, do I like coding or not? And if you like it or love it, then keep at it. Keep at it. It'll work. And if you want, you can provide me with a little bit more color, a little bit more details here, and I'll let you know what I think about what the next step could be. Thanks. All right, and Akil is saying, how do you get out of your comfort zone? You do it. Just run to it. It's kind of like you're standing on the edge of a swimming pool and you want to go swimming, but you think it might be cold and you're like, oh, I don't want to go in. I don't want to just dip my toe in. It's too cold. I don't want to go in. I'll screw that. Then you're like, screw it. And you jump in. It's uncomfortable for about 3 seconds. And you're like, oh, it's so refreshing. I love it. Just do it. Just run to your fears. Run to your fears and embrace them. And public speaking, I was terrified of it. But I just said, screw it. Let's do it. That's what Sir Richard Branson says always. That's his quote of his. Screw it, let's do it. Run towards your fear. Run towards your fear and condition yourself for of perceived joy. It's all up here. Whether or not you think you can do it, you're right. All right. And one of my kids, I'm not going to say which one, but he gets nervous sometimes around people. And so when we'll go out sometimes and we're at a restaurant and the waiter's not coming over, I'll say, whatever his name is, can you go over there and tell the waiter to please come over to take our order or something like that, right? And I'll kind of force him to get outside his comfort zone as well, forcing you to get outside your comfort zone as well. All right. But I remember I used to code a lot, like tons of coding. I'd be uncomfortable around people at parties sometimes. I guess because I was just kind of a isolated coding. I love to code, man. I'd be coding for 10 hours straight, drinking Jolt Cola. I'm an old man. That's Red Bull for younger people. But 10 hours would go by. It was like I was in light speed, like to people. And then eventually you just kind of like, hey, this isn't so bad. All right. And you always got to tell yourself, I just don't care what people think of me. I don't realize that I don't give a damn what anybody thinks of me. Is when you reach this unbelievable level of awesomeness from a personal power perspective, as Tony. I'm interested in joining your MBA program, 6 big banks in Canada. So what application section, it doesn't cost you any money to apply. The essay, it's 1,000 words or less. And I want you to answer 2 questions. Number 1, what are your biggest goals in the application? Send it in. Don't anybody tell me that money is tight or you need a scholarship. Because I don't want you to say, oh, I didn't get accepted. Is that the reason? Whatever. But rest assured, I will help you out scholarship, law school or Oxford or wherever it is. Don't ever not apply because of money. Just get in and then figure out how to pay for it later. And I promise you, I'll give you more generous scholarships than they would anyway. But in general, don't ever let money hold you back like that when it comes to education, please. There's always a way to get scholarship on the RBC shares. I'm okay, though. Thank you. So Keel is saying, what are your thoughts on procrastination? What do you do to let it go? I do it now. I do it now. I do it now. I know it sounds obnoxious, but I repeat that over and over and over again to myself until I get it done. Also, something I need to do, this is nutty, I know. But if I live in America, go to Trader Joe's, please, and buy there's bagel seasoning. You don't get the carbs that way, right? But I do it now. I get it done now. Always, always, always. And if it's something I can't get done, then I never actually achieve everything I schedule. But, to quote the great James Cameron, the Avatar dude, and Titanic dude, he said, if you set your goals so high and you don't achieve them, you'll still exceed everything. You're working too hard? Are you taking enough breaks or not? And for me, I'm feeling a little bit less burned out than I was last week. Last week I don't know if any of you remember on call number 48, I was kind of burned out, man. I was kind of burned out. It's getting better though. It's getting better. One of the problems is that when you, I'm getting better at it. But all right, Rudolph is saying, what are some good ways one can your liquid holdings, meaning the amount of money you have outside of your all of your investments in stocks. Like if you take my complete personal finance course, I provide you with subsectors within stocks, also bonds, okay, REITs like real estate investment trusts, and also commodities. So I would make sure you have those 4 categories covered, okay, and make sure that each one of those aforementioned categories is less than 25% of your liquid net worth. That's a good. So, Mr. Unknown is saying, what do you right? So when you take my complete personal finance course, if you want to, and by the way, take it and then get a refund within 30 days. It's free. I don't care. I never 30 days and you want your money back. Just let me know. I'll give you all a lifetime guarantee. But within that complete personal finance course, Rudolph, I cover a lot about tax incentives in your country. That's right, every country, right? 195 countries I did it for in that course. And there's as well as buying your own house. Okay, and I covered your country as well. Is Mr. Unknown, what do you think about FOREX? I try to dive into, that means foreign exchange trading. I try to dive in because people that trade, that are short-term focused, especially with foreign exchange stuff, they never end up making a lot of money longer term, unless you're George Soros, and that was kind of isolated. He forced the British government he broke the pound. He made the government float the pound. Same thing with the Thai baht. Like people in Thailand hate, unfortunately, they hate George Soros. But he's probably the only macro trader ever that's been successful. The problem with betting on currencies is it's all about Trump tomorrow or vice versa, which causes certain currencies or commodities go up and down. I can't predict that. I can't forecast what the economic data points are going to be. A couple Fridays from now, when before the market opens, when the U.S. government, the Bureau of Labor and Statistics tells you random. It's random. I prefer to invest in things that I can understand better, like individual product-based companies, where I can be a 5 or 10 year investor in that company instead of trying to trade the technical trading points, which is just too hard to do. It's hard to do, and there's really no traders out there that make a career of it longer returns. But if I were to go, and I would bring an amount of money that I would say to myself, I'm comfortable losing this amount, but that's it. Kind of like that. I mentioned to quote the great Warren Buffett. Yeah. Thank you, Daniels, for that. Appreciate it. That word is swearing. I do realize that now. There's something else. Yeah. Yeah. I've heard them use another word as well, which I did know was a swear word. And they thought because I don't speak Spanish, I wouldn't know, but I caught them. And I said, hey, don't do that. You're most welcome. Great example, the Paul McCartney concert, the webinar. That is awesome. That's why you want to get, you know that Jay Leno, you've done your research, loves cars. Okay, I get it. Huh. Good for you, man. That's awesome. Very cool. All right. That's awesome. Let me know how it goes, please. Jay Leno, to hear what happens. I'm really, really interested. Yeah. Huh. All right, Vipul is saying, I'm about to graduate. What should I do for a job? It depends what your budget is like. But I think you should always be starting companies on the side, regardless of whether or not you have a job. And that goes for everybody on this call until you're self-employed. If your dream is nothing stopping you from doing a side hustle, take my complete business plan course. It's a nice start mini side hustles on the side until one takes off. And then consider, look at your 6-month trailing revenue that you've made from that side hustle. And if it's way more than you make working for somebody else, and if you want to be independent, then screw it, let's do it. Break away and start that. Next up is Dat Tran from is our Vietnamese friend, lives in Vancouver now. And Dat Tran is saying, hi Chris, can you write on here? I'm on my class and I can't hear you. You know what, dude? I think you can turn on closed captions. See if you can. If not, the replay probably has closed captions. You should do then is like put a little earpiece in your ear. You can hear it like a little, I used to do that when I was a kid. I would fall asleep in my bedroom with an earpiece on here on the pillow, so my mom wouldn't. So the California Angels, as they call them back, drinks door to door, so they can become more comfortable talking to something that's really important, the most important thing in business and life, which is the business perspective, the ability to relationships first and product knowledge second. Always, always, always. Yeah. And I knew a guy who I had dinner with him. He was the head of government sales at IBM. A couple of years ago, I had dinner with him. And I was introducing him to Mohit Aaron, who is the the CEO, founder of a company called Cohesity. I used to be on the board on when I used to work in venture capital. But whenever I meet with somebody successful, I always ask them for one piece of advice on what made them successful, or people they've worked with, what made them successful. And this guy who was the head of sales for government at IBM, he used to work for George Bush Sr. in the White House. And I asked him, what made Bush Sr. so successful? And he told me that what George Bush Sr. did was he made people feel like celebrities. Oh, thank you, Nadi. Appreciate that. Yeah. And Kevin, I was saying, have you of BitChute? What do you think of it in its future? I don't know what that means. Sorry. I don't know what that. If that's some sort of a cryptocurrency, I recommend. I'm smiling because a friend of mine just gave me a high five there. I'll get that in a second. I recommend taking my complete cryptocurrency course because I go through 49 steps on how to analyze cryptocurrencies. Yeah. And then Santa Berzina, Santa, you're the best. How are you? So in California for 4 or 5 years or something. 4 or 5 years, too long if you ask me, Santa. Okay, just kidding. And she's actually coming here to. You must be here now, right? I think tomorrow. No, on Saturday, she's coming with us to go for a tour to that Gaudi. There's this famous painter here or architect builder named Gaudi. He passed away many years ago, and he made this church that looks like it's melting. And my kids, Santa, just so you know, my kids don't want to go on that tour. And you know what they said? You'll love this. They said, Dad, you always tell us to finish what we start. Why the heck do you want to take us to see this thing that this guy made many years ago that's not even finished yet? So anyway, it's kind of funny. But San Francisco Holiday Inn, the San Francisco Hilton. No, just kidding. You can stay with us. And I'm looking forward to seeing you tomorrow, I think, right? Awesome. Safe travels. So Santa works at Accenture. Accenture or Accenture? I used to work there too. It's a great company. All right, next question, and high five back at you, sister. Okay, so next question is, I'll let you know as soon as I get feedback. Okay, cool. And Akil's saying, what are your thoughts about taking risks? So I believe in taking calculated risks, and you'll never get anywhere in life unless you take a lot of risks. And so, Tony Robbins sees things in terms of pain and pleasure. If I eat this chocolate cake, for me, everything I do in business, I think of risk reward, which is kind of like pain and pleasure. For a stock, I decide is obviously my target price. The downside is usually a technical support level, right? And so if the upside minus the downside is skewed very positive, the risk reward is positive, very positive, that's a calculated risk worth taking. So I take a lot of risk, a ton of risks, right? And I always have. And people that take a lot of risks, they fail. What I learned from this. This is positive because of this, right? And so I always see crisis as opportunity. And last thing I'll say there is you only have to be right in business one time. So take more risks. All right. And Vipul is saying, thanks for mentoring. My pleasure. My pleasure. When one teaches, two learn. Sorry. I took consumer psychology courses before. I don't know. He's read every major self-help book there is to read. Hundreds and hundreds of them. And he's written the best ones ever, too. Or some of the best ones. Dale Carnegie, called How to Win Friends and Influence People. That's probably the best business psychology book ever made. And, Dale Carnegie said that people are creatures of emotion and not creatures of logic. Remember that in business. Exchange is the only store in the world where consumers sell stuff when it goes on sale. Think about that. Amazing, huh? Cut my hair a little bit too short today. Yeah. I was in a hurry. Okay. Yeah, if you guys could only see me right before I started this webcast, I couldn't get my cinema camera to work, my Canon C300 disaster. It's all good, though. All right. Akil is saying, how do you focus on a task and complete it without getting distracted? Right? If you write down your daily schedule every day and you set your own self-imposed deadlines and you adhere to them and you vocalize them as well, then the percentage chance of them, getting completed on time goes up a lot. Especially if you vocalize it. It's like you got to set a deadline. Like when you have goals, like goals, but they never set a deadline date, right? So you got to not only come up with a deadline date for your goals, but also vocalize it. Tell your friends about it, because that will put pressure on you in a loving way to get it done on time. For me, so I threw down a challenge. That's how I got it done. But as I mentioned on previous webcasts, if you go to my website, you can download a one-page schedule that I fill out and you can get that download. It's free, like everything else. Just go to harounventures.com/schedule, all lowercase. Yeah. So schedule, failing to plan is planning to fail. So I'd start by, reading books about Warren Buffett. There's a ton of biographies on him. And you can also read his investment Bible, which is, oh my God. Dude, I'm totally forgot. But Warren Buffett came to Columbia University only because Graham and Dodd I'm having a senior moment here now, but when Warren Buffett came to visit us, I went to Columbia as well, and he came and lectured one of the classes, which was fun. His wife came and she joked that he brought that book with him on their honeymoon, which is true. And I have to look it up now because you guys all know what it is. So I'm going to type up Graham and Dodd book. And you please. Oh, The Intelligent Investor. Yeah. Sorry. The Intelligent Investor, not the intelligent webcast teacher loser guy here today who can't remember. You got to start somewhere. Yeah. And Akil is saying, explain the concept of Mr. Market. So I'm really, maybe the market is just, the market, somebody's saying the market is always right. I don't know. Sorry. I don't know. Okay. And Akil has another question. Why can't we find many Warren Buffetts? Or did he just happen to be great on timing the market and luck played a huge role? No. So he doesn't care. He's long-term focused. And he's a value investor as well. And you can learn about his investment secrets, so to speak, by reading that book, The Intelligent Investor. Right? It's not my Picasso mug. It's dope, huh? It's lit. That's what my kids say now too. It's lit. And they used to say, Dad, that's so bae. What does that mean, bae? B-A-E. Better than, Dad, you can't say cool. That's our lingo. Groovy. All right. What do companies like BlackRock, Vanguard, Fidelity, how do they work? They have trillions of dollars of assets. What do they do? How do they work? Yeah. So BlackRock is the largest financial services firm in the world in terms of assets. They have over $4 trillion in assets, right? A lot of those are bond funds, which were quite large, right? So BlackRock is a diversified financial services. They do most of that stuff. Maybe they don't do product, stocks, bonds, etc. Yeah. Well, big funds, which are made up of stocks in an index. And so Vanguard and BlackRock has indexes too, ETF indexes. So Vanguard will sell funds you can invest in. They're kind of like a mutual fund, but they're just representation of indexes. So you can invest in a Vanguard S&P 500 index fund, which is just 500 stocks that make up the S&P 500. And the fees are low. With Vanguard, they don't have to hire really, really expensive people to pick stocks. They just mirror the index. So the fees are 0.5% versus BlackRock and Fidelity, which can have 3, 4, or 5% fees, including hidden fees too. And ETFs based in Boston. And Peter Lynch ran a great fund there called the Magellan Fund for years, for decades. And a buddy of mine, actually a Canadian friend of mine, who I used to work with at Goldman, we interned there together, named Harlan Carrere, now runs that fund. But if you want to learn more about how Fidelity managed, and basically the way he did it, the way he did well with his Fidelity Magellan Fund, which is just one of their many funds, is he invested in stuff that mutual funds you can buy, mainly for stocks. There's bond ones as well. But it's an amalgamation of stocks that smart people that they hire pick. All right, and the reason why, and I'm not going to say this, because they have a very powerful lobby, and they spend billions of dollars in advertising. They spend a lot of money in advertising, which means black swan. Yeah, well, geopolitical 9/11. That was a geopolitical horrible event, obviously, by randomness and blink. he wrote a book called Black Swan, which discusses very, very random and rare occurrences. And a black swan event, because swans are usually not the color black, is an event that rarely occurs, a geopolitical event as well. Right? Something you can't forecast, yeah. Okay, next up is, what do billionaires and millionaires do to protect their wealth, to make a lot of money? They invest in hedge funds to preserve their wealth. Because if you think about it, the word hedge and hedge fund, and so hedge funds will protect your capital, protect yourself from losing a lot of money if the market goes down a lot, because they can make money when the market goes down as well. Yeah, hey, come here. So my kids just got back. Did you get down here? Yeah, it's a bit of a delay. So let me go over here. This is Matthew. This is Dylan, and this is Andrew. Get over here. I haven't shown you this guy here. That's Andrew chewing gum. And this here.
No. Matthew doesn't love me.
Of course he does. I love you too. All right, those are my 3 sons. Mini me's.
One more.
Yeah. That was a birth control commercial. Just kidding. Okay, and also, yeah, if you don't mind, yeah, close the door. Here, shut that thing there. Yeah, thanks. Love you. Thanks. See ya. All right. Yeah, they'll hire tax lawyers as well to maybe park their money offshore as well. But the tax rules change all the time. Okay, what are your thoughts on Think and Grow Rich by Okay, and then Vipul is saying, I think he's different as well. His approach, he thinks really differently from a lot of people, and I have friends that work for him. There's this, and I've gone to his office as well. And there's chess at San Francisco Bridge, the Golden Gate Bridge, yeah. But there's this cerebral intensity in his office, right? He's just wired differently. I think he's brilliant, and he's kind of like, I'm kind of like they just think differently from everybody else. They see things from different, and you thought like the market form because you'd be buying the same asset everybody else buys. And so who's the incremental investor? Warren Buffett. Yeah. Keel's saying hi. Hi to my 3 sons, mini me's. Yeah, that glow on my face for sure, man. That's called sweat, because I was worried they're going to knock all the equipment over. Just kidding. All right, looks like there's no more questions. So I want to thank you all for your time today. If you subscribe to my vlog, I have this entire webcast. Wrigley always does a great job with it, typed up in terms of the time codes. You can just click and go directly to questions. So anyway, thanks again. Sorry that the quality wasn't that great here. We have some technology limitations here. I'm traveling to Toronto, but I will do the call the following Thursday from Toronto. So thanks again, everybody.